I'll be back. That's what she said. I think when I came to Canada, I was planning to make much more YouTube videos because that's what I started making in Shanghai. But as you may know, changing countries, and I have to mention that before coming to Canada, I went to Ukraine after my master's degree in Chinese language in China, in Shanghai, and then stayed there for 1 month. And as you may understand, the situation in my country wasn't stable at that time. And then you come to a new country and you have a lot of challenges because I don't think that Canada for now is as friendly to immigrants as it used to be. So of course you have to sort out many things, find a job, get used to a job, be proactive and show that you are worth that kind of job. So a lot of different things were happening, and somehow I did stop making YouTube videos, but I'm back. Why? I was trying to make those short videos for YouTube or Instagram, but it somehow seems like they are just not moving anywhere. Probably the market is too saturated, or there are some other reasons. I was thinking, and my friends also mentioned, that making videos in Chinese in the Western world is probably a mistake. I can agree, especially considering that I'm currently in North America and the attitude of North Americans to China is not the best. I absolutely agree. I would say there are certain countries in the world that, in terms of politics, probably do some controversial things or violate some norms, or accused of violating those norms, and that's what it is. But I would say, as a person who had an experience of living on different continents, I have to say that I came to this huge realization. It's not that I didn't know it before, but after traveling and after talking to people, I do think that the most important and the most useful way to actually understand other country, what they do, why they do this, is to be familiar with their local culture, is to be exposed to the people from that country, is to making an effort to actually understand their mindset, or a little bit even of history, to understand why people do this way, why people think this way. Probably the competition there is too high, people are desperate, or probably this is a historical norm that dates back to thousands of years. That definitely helps. And if we look from this perspective on China, that's an awesome country to learn about history, culture, because as they say, it's an extremely old history, and at the same time, many of the things that people there do, many of the customs, food, many of the holidays are absolutely different from the Western world. Isn't it amazing to learn about them? Plus, let's be honest, many of the holidays in South Korea, for example, in Vietnam, are coming from Chinese culture. We have to understand that actually all those nearby Asian countries were extremely impacted by China, by the characters, traditional characters that are still used in Japan. They are still sometimes used in Korea, for example, in the people's names, the holidays. It all comes from there. And let's be honest, the iPhone you are holding, yes, they tried to transition to India for production, but do you think it's gonna be that easy? Everything takes time, and let's be honest, the time when China produced all those cheap toys or cheap clothes definitely is in the past. If we look at all the most modern gadgets, those expensive ones, I won't mention the name, but you definitely know. And it's not only about the gadgets, it's about the technology, it's about the raw materials, it's about the knowledge of processing those materials. China is definitely very, very advanced in that aspect, and many of the things you have are probably having that component, that it's not that cheap, but the component is actually the result of many years of research, of China's willingness to progress in research and development, in technologies, in basically every sphere that is very useful for the modern world. Let's take a look at EVs. Well, I think you know the situation. It's not that I'm saying that the country is awesome. It's not that I'm not aware of the problems that are inside of the country. I absolutely know that. I've been researching China since 2014 when I entered my university in Ukraine to study my bachelor's degree in Chinese language, right? So of course I know that, and I lived in China in total for 5 years. I've seen many things because, as many other foreigners, I wasn't living in this expat bubble. I was studying. Okay, first years it was studying with other foreign students, but my master's degree was absolutely with Chinese students in Chinese culture. That's when I opened my eyes on many other things. It was challenging, but it was extremely enlightening to understand the situation and to understand the struggles of people. I would say TikTok and Instagram Reels started to feel for me as work, and it's also not very nice to not see the return on investment, because I was trying to share some information, some interesting things in the majority of the videos, and maybe I just think there are some barriers with the prejudice towards the country I'm covering, and it's probably maybe weird because I'm not a native speaker. I'm not from North America. I'm also not Chinese. I am actually Ukrainian who is talking in English about China, which may create some weird thoughts, or probably just not extremely popular, not trendy, or whatever you may call it. But actually making YouTube videos on this topic somehow feels easy, and feels like I really want to share with people more about it and uncover some other side. After I arrived here, I definitely was exposed to a lot of negative media on China, not only from the US, but let's be honest, I would even say that the reputation of China in Canada is also very bad. But let's be honest, there are so many people from China, from Hong Kong, from Taiwan who live here. Many of them came due to certain reasons that are creating that negative reputation for the country. But still, there are so many beautiful things that I would like to share, because I would say all of the people, for example, who've been to Shanghai, no matter how developed the country is. I talked to people from New Zealand, from Australia, from the US, and all of them were extremely impressed with for example, the advancement in Shanghai. I still haven't been to many countries, but from what I've experienced, I think Shanghai is the most convenient city to live in. The transportation system, the ease of getting anything you want literally next day. It's just like living in the city of the future. And how beautiful it is. How a lot of things are happening almost every day. Something new is built, some new gallery opens, some different pop-ups. It's art of the shopping centers, of the shopping malls. And it's just the scale of that, because it's much bigger scale, because we definitely have some fancy, for example, shopping malls here in North America, but it may be one and everyone would know about it. But in Shanghai, for example, you go and there are hundreds of them, and all of them are like piece of art. For example, let me tell you about my favorite one is the Youth Energy Center. It's a very interesting place, because it's a shopping mall with a different, I would say, business model. They choose modern artists, modern designers, and the designer scene in Shanghai is flourishing. So they choose these new people. They don't sell they mostly don't sell those big brands. They try to give chance to those young ones and sell within the store, which is actually in the downtown of Shanghai. And this Youth Energy Center is a collection of all the most progressive designers, artistic people, architects. It's not only about selling, it's more about the experience, about exhibiting your art, about introducing what is happening in those niche spheres, right? That's how I actually met some very talented people who are, one of them is a designer, another one I think is an architect, and she even got a scholarship to study in Ireland for some time. And their dedication and their trendiness, their knowledge of fashion, and their knowledge of Western world inspired me a lot. And I have to say, I experienced it even in back in 2016 when I studied in Tianjin, which is near Beijing, one of the biggest cities in China actually, but less just known to the Western world. And even at that time, I remember I had met a physics major student, and his level of knowledge of the Western world really impressed me. And then after that, I met a lot of other people who actually are very familiar with the maybe TV series, with the trends, with the politics. And I bet Westerners don't know that much about Chinese new trends. And okay, let alone, I'm also not a huge fan of TV series, and maybe music is too melancholic and slow for me in China. But the rap scene, it's flourishing, it's awesome, it's like, it's on a very high level. The clothing scene, it's just unbeatable. That's why I decided to come back to my YouTube channel just to share more things with you. In the next video, I will tell you about the blooming period of Chinese boyfriends. It's a new trending topic on Chinese social media that they are talking about. And I think these things are definitely interesting to share. And of course, I'm going to probably also share some things about my personal life here, because probably some of my friends who are not here with me or who are in different countries also will have a chance to learn. It felt really cool to finally share something on YouTube and to be back. I hope that there are people who agree with my points of view and with my perception. And I think I really want to gather around people who believe in the power of culture, who agree that culture actually matters and it's one of the most important things to overcome obstacles in modern world and to actually solve many problems. It's just we need more willingness, more openness towards other people's mindsets and towards other people's cultures, and just towards understanding that there are things that are done differently, but it's not bad. It's not wrong, it's just the way it is. Okay guys, I love you so much. See you next time. I'll be back. Mwah.
These my dance make it hurt.